Celtic. They won the ball high up the pitch. I don't think you can underestimate Engels coming back in there. And not just because, I think Tyson Maeda coming back to form is obviously a big deal, because if he's playing that way and harassing defenders, they're on their nerves all day, and he creates chances and you win the ball high up the pitch. But I think he's been able to do that because Arne Engels is much more structured behind him. Engels is pressing in behind. If you watch Engels, I thought he was really proactive, Engels, off the ball. I thought he was good on the ball. I think he controls the play much better than a lot of the guys in there. But what he did, he was pressing in behind Maeda as well, which meant the whole team got up the pitch, winning the ball far higher up the park. I mean, he's, what is it, the old Mark Warburton phrase, his pitch geography is tremendous. Great pitch geography, Arne Engels. I didn't know what name at the time. No, I understand what Mark Warburton was saying. He's always the right place, right time, Engels. He's good at that. So it's not always flashy. It's not always pinging 40-yard balls or slipping balls to the middle. He can do that, but a lot of it's just being in the right position. And he allowed Maeda to go and charge. Because a lot of times when Maeda was charging in recent months, he would charge and try and block down. Maybe not come off, but there's nobody behind him to back him up. So you're not getting the second ball behind him. So whereas in the previous years with Celtic, they go and press, and even don't get that first contact, there's the next pass is getting shut down as well. It's not happening with Celtic. The midfield hasn't been functioning properly. The midfield has been basically the kind of engine of ourselves for years, pressing those second passes. So if they do get beyond Maeda's trap, the next one's going to get him. Not happened this season. It happened on Saturday. Engels was doing it. He was up the park. It allowed McGregor to sit and control without having to put out fires every 5 minutes because he controls the ball better. I just think Engels' return was actually not really a big, fancy, showy kind of display, but I think it really did make an impact in there. I think it helped Celtic give it their shape, their pressing, and eventually the pressure. I don't think it was a perfect performance. I still think it's a bit haphazard at times, and it's relying on moments rather than combinations in play. But it's definitely a system I think O'Neill's now found, right, you know what, that's about as good as we're going to get. That's my workaround. So that's what we're going to do. And I can change things. I've got in the actual, I've got Taneke on the bench. Forrest can start or he can come off the bench. I've got Sriracha can come on for Tierney. I've got guys that can, Johnson coming back is a major thing as well, because he'll give him an attacking outlet in the right if he can get fully fit. I know it's hard now, but he saw it in the last 15, 20 minutes. He was good. So he's got a system now. You think, you know what? It's not perfect, but it might work. This might work for the last 4 games. Well, it's going to have to, isn't it? It's going to have to.
We've got much of a choice. I thought, obviously, we talked a lot about who was playing and who played well at the weekend, but I thought it was intriguing. Now, when the Celtic team comes out on social media, I'm always quick to look who's not in the squad, if you know what I mean. And it was Chavan Chara again this week. I think for the second game in a row, couldn't even make the bench. And Mick, I know you've wrote something for Record Sport Online about Reo Hatate. You said just before we come on air, how many minutes has he's played in the last 4 games?
He's only played 70 minutes in the last 4 games. Obviously not started the last 4 games, and he's only on the bench fleetingly. We said that last week at Hamden, that not going to him at any point in time when the game was slipping away from Celtic, the second half was interesting.
Aye.
Not getting involved again at the weekend, you think, right, okay, that's now, it's not just a horse for courses game decision. This is a wider thing. I just think O'Neill finds that Hatate, like every other Celtic manager, is that he can't rely on him to keep the ball well enough, and he wants that bit more control in the middle of the park to try and minimise the chaos. That's what I'm talking about Arne Engels. He doesn't give the ball away as much. But whereas Hatate, he can turn it on, but it puts a lot of pressure on others, and you lose that structure. You lose that. I'm talking about that Arne Engels pressing in behind. So I just think he's slipping down the pecking order. And I don't think he'll write him off. I don't think it was what we called it, the Balak suite. I don't think he's going fully in there just yet. He's going to be completely bombed out along with Chankara and Adamu and Vuka and Bernardo, the kind of crowded Balak suite. But I think O'Neill, as I said a minute ago, he stumbled across a kind of a setup information I think he likes. Oxlade Chamberlain can come on and bolster it as well and keep the ball. I just think Hatate, it looks like the writing's on the wall from a wee bit, but you never know because 4 games to go, things can happen in games. I don't think you'll write him off completely, but I don't know what you think, Ryan. I get the feeling that O'Neill, like every other Celtic manager, thinks this guy's good, but he's too stressful.
I'm luxury, aye.
Well, that was the thing. Brendan Rodgers, when he first came back to Celtic, I think he said that Reo Hatate used to frustrate the life out of him because he was so sloppy in possession. So Martin O'Neill probably thinks the same way. So look, I think Hatate had a purple patch. I think round about the 4 games away from home, around about the Ibrox double-header as well. He really came back to form. People thought, oh, here we go, this is the real Reo Hatate, but he slipped out of favour again. And I think, like Mick says, I think Martin O'Neill has now found the ideal combination in midfield. You've got the captain, Callum McGregor, either side of him. You've got the goal scorer, Benjamin Nygren, and then you've got Arne Engels, who Nottingham Forest bid the £25 million for in January, so he must be a decent player. So I think that's the midfield three he's likely to stick with.